Say
The
again.
record on this.
You check it, Kyle. See what you think. My,
Oh yeah.
I
Every
think
time I talk to you, you just up the game gets upped every fucking time.
trying, bro. We're trying to be big time out here. We got all the right capabilities now, so it's
I tell
like,
you what. Love it, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming back. I
oh,
know this is your third time. So
yo, glad to be here. Like that you're rocking max effort. I appreciate that as
I did. I
always.
woke up and I was like, I got to put on a max effort hoodie. That's just
Hell yeah,
par for the course, man. So thanks for coming back on. I really appreciate it, Cory.
yeah, man. How can we offer some value this time?
Yeah. I was gonna say let's dive in. I mean, I think since the last time, the biggest thing, I changed the name. The name's a little different, so it's not just about finance. If you remember, you were one of the first people I
Yeah,
had
simply
on.
finance, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I just kind of evolved it. It's really turned into a much bigger thing around going 0 to 1,
Okay,
which so I've had, close to 100 founders in different industries on here, and thought it'd be fun to have you back on. I feel like if people have
sure.
listened to this long enough, and like I mentioned, you've just your whole thing has evolved continuously, and what you do, you never slow down. If anyone follows Cory, it's
No.
pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah. I think
um,
I've stood the kind of test of time on that. That look, nothing is just linear, right? It's always up, down, sideways, but I'm always pushing to, make things better, improve, and try new things. And yeah, the 0 to 1 thing, I've always been a starter, man. Starter, figure it out. I've never overthought things. That's never really been my style because I already know it's not going to be perfect. I've known
okay,
that forever. So
yeah,
it's like, I'm not going to wait till I think it's perfect. I'm going to wait till I think it's good enough to start working on.
love that. Yeah. Not waiting for things to be perfect. I think that's important.
It's
It's funny.
impossible because you can't achieve it.
Sure. Oh yeah. Right. It's funny. It's fun, and I don't want to like go on and on about this, but I do want to say thank you at the beginning of this, because a lot of what I've learned from you, even since starting the podcast, I think when I started the podcast, I really started getting into like actually following your app, which if anyone hasn't
Yeah.
followed it or
Thank you.
know what it is, I'll plug that and put that in the show notes. But it's a lot more than just your workouts. It's really like your mentality, which I think a lot of people don't realize until you start following it.
Mhm.
And for me, what was wild was I started getting into it. I started doing your workouts, and I'd follow you since college, but the workouts and really getting into the app and more of the mindset and applying that to just not just workouts, but business started right when COVID started, funny enough, which I know I'm sure for you, that was a big inflection point.
A lot of
Um,
people have more time to dig.
yeah, right. And honestly, I had more time for workouts, and because I wasn't making time. I wasn't getting up early enough. So when COVID hit, I was like, oh, I could spend an hour and a half, 2 hours working out if I want to.
For sure.
So started doing that. But long story short, applied that to things I wanted to do outside of the 9 to 5 that I had. And at the end of last year, I was able to quit, and now I'm doing my own thing. So
Hell yeah.
wanted to
How
say
good does
thank you
that feel?
for that. It's amazing. Anyone that asks, it's hard to explain, because it's like you wake up every day, and instead of realizing you need to go to the office and be somewhere at 9 o'clock, you're grinding harder than I've ever grinded before, because it's for you and your family and building, your
Oh,
generational wealth. So
and I don't even really understand the other way because I've been doing this way for so many years that it's like I'm so removed from a clock in, clock out type of environment that my norm has been, I've been an entrepreneur since 99. So this is me, bred. That's just how I operate. And I think back to your point, like people come onto the app because they want to lose weight, get abs, whatever. But I'm really like tricking them into like the whole like lifestyle. They just don't realize it yet. And
100%.
so, and so they, so I covertly, I'm operating and showing them things. And then it's like, I'm trying to create so much content that when they're ready to actually see it, they go, wait a sec. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I need to like, develop myself and do this and discipline and balance. And I'm trying to really showcase like all of what we really got going on and that idea of what's really possible. Cause I've showcased it since I've been a, pretty young dude that I've been able to progress, my life and my family's lives over all these last 20 years. And I'm really just trying to pour myself into that app so people can really, try to hopefully benefit in all these different angles. If, and I think Nipsey said something the other day about it's not really what you can take, it's what, you can give back out more than anything. So it's like, I'm going to get what I want if I can enrich people's lives. And so I'm trying to do my best job, just pouring out as much information and mindset of how I got here, because I know it wasn't on accident.
No, I love that. How did you, one thing I think it's always stood out to me when I think about like how you've built Max Effort, before that, the other businesses you ran, and
Mhm.
really even like just the health side of what you do, which is, getting up at the crazy ass time of day and training.
Yeah.
How did you like going back to 0 to 1, how did you get to where you are today from there? Because I think for a lot of people, one of the things that I felt like growing up, I always heard was, oh, enjoy it now. Like once you have kids, you'll never have time for this. And you're one of the first people that I know that really taught me virtually, obviously, is just like,
Yeah.
no, fuck that. Wake up earlier, do the stuff you want to do. You can still be a great dad or, whatever, a great
Sure.
husband. But how did you kind of get to that? Because it doesn't seem like that's a very commonly known thing. And I feel like not that you don't know if you came up with it or did you just tinker until you kind of figured that out?
So here's what's interesting about my life over a lot of others is I still compete, in my field as about to be 44. So to make time to be a competitive athlete, I look at myself like a pro athlete, even though it's kind of funny to say, but it's the reality of how I need hours
Mm-hmm.
of uninterrupted time to hone my craft as a competitor, just
Okay.
like any other athlete. And by default, that continued to get earlier and earlier. So I could also run multiple businesses and still be a dad. And so to have all those, that's why people would always like chirp at me about my sleep, but I was getting quality sleep. I just wasn't sleeping a lot. And the reality is, to do all the things that I love to do, that's just what it is. So it ended up being that we had to train at 4. And that ended up being better for a lot of guys because they could get to their job across town and do whatever. Cause we got kind of a mix and match of all different walks of life that come and train in my crew at 4 a.m. And it's like, it then allowed that I can't work out at 5 o'clock. I'm a baseball practice with 2 kids.
At night. Yeah.
Madeline got volleyball, and then, to try to do stuff during the day as we're trying to run these businesses. Like it just, I'm getting out of bed to do something I absolutely love. And by the way, it's not my hobby, it's my job on top of it. So
Right.
the reality is that to me, it doesn't even seem crazy. It just seems necessary. It's just different. So like, I'm not caught up in that, the discipline of going to bed at a certain time to get up at a certain time. I get up to do what I love, compete, push, and get better. And then the curiosity of training, the protocols and all that shit. Like, this is what I do, man. So like, it was like, I needed that balance. I had to make a decision. Gee, do you want to still compete? Or are you just going to be a dude who exercises and has these businesses?
Yeah. Big
I
difference,
fucking
right?
train, bro. I don't exercise. You know what I mean? Like it's different. You come in here and you walk in these doors, especially at, in the morning crew, motherfuckers ain't exercising. They're competing to get better, to do things that other humans aren't doing. And so
Mm-hmm.
like it's a different edge, which is why we built this facility like this. And so I think that a lot of people are caught up in the time or this or that. To me, it just made all the sense because I could fit it all in and I could still take part. I didn't want to say because I'm a dad, I can't compete. I didn't want to say because I'm competing, I can't have my business. Fuck it. I want to try to do it all. And yeah, there's some things like I'm probably not the best dad because I'm tired sometimes. I'm not the best business dude because I'm tired sometimes, probably. I'm not the best in the gym, maybe. But man, I can really give, I think, like my full go at all of those, the best I can, and I'm proving it again right now. We got bodybuilding show May 7th, powerlifting meet May 8th, both
Hell yeah.
sanctioned. There's 4 of us doing both. There's about 15 guys doing the meet. And we're going to showcase, the protocols and how we operate at a high level. So that gets me out of bed. Shit, I got up at 3:05. My fucking alarm was set for 3:20. I woke up before it today
Hell yeah.
because I can't
Love
wait to
that.
get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that the authenticity of like how much I truly like love this can't be really hidden. It's just me, man. Like I'm a fucking weightlifter. That's what I do.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think a lot of people know you for different reasons from different things. It is true though. I don't know how many people know that you actually compete in weightlifting and powerlifting, right? Really powerlifting.
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've competed in my first powerlifting meet was 1997. I've competed almost every year since then, except for 1 year I hurt my shoulder. So I've probably done 30 meets, 15 bodybuilding shows, 13 covers of magazines. I mean, yeah, dude, I've been competing every quarter basically my entire life, my entire adult life. I've been competing. Like I'm always under the gun. I'm always looking for a goal. And that has then sparked more discipline, more like just a timetable I always have to perform. I don't always kill it, but I give myself the best chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm preparing, and through preparation, that's going to force more discipline, which is going to force better business, which is going to force a better lifestyle. And I think that it's all fed off of each other. So yeah, I'm always competing, man. Like I literally stay ready whenever, I'm healthy, which has been honestly, thankfully, most of my career.
Yeah. No, I was to say, besides your big injury, I know you talk about a lot.
Yeah.
For people listening who, haven't followed your stuff,
Mhm.
or don't follow the app, or, max effort, any of those, can you explain to people the types of training really again,
Mhm.
that you follow? Cause I think there's lots of different ways to think about training. You have a very specific one that when people ask me like, what kind of workouts is, I try to get buddies cause I
Mhm.
have a garage set up. So I
Hell
always try to
yeah.
get people to come over early in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, it's like a mixture of powerlifting, bodybuilding, and then we lunge every day.
Yeah. This
Which
is
the
real
lunges,
easy, man.
everyone leaves when the lunges start. But
Yeah, people
anyway,
always skip the lunges. They're fucking soft. So here's the thing. I'm getting a little bit more bullish on these type of like kind of statements because I'm starting to realize how unique what we do is. And
Mhm.
I know why it's that way. I'm the only person on the planet that can legitimately say I learned directly from Louis Simmons and from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you get the goats, which they are 1,000,000%, I got lucky that I live in Columbus and that's where West Side is. And was, I started messing around there like 2008, but I saw West Side in 98. Like, and I've been studying the content and, practicing conjugate stuff since 2008 when I started meeting some of the West Siders and Louis and that. And then working with Arnold in the old MP days, like directly writing program with Arnold, asking him questions based off like digging through footage at, Pumping Iron Lake, and all the stuff I studied previous to that because I have no internet was all Arnold based.
Oh,
So you
wow.
figure I'm the mixture of these two individuals, and then you sprinkle a little John Bros on there with the squat everyday protocols. And now all of a sudden I've got a golden era bodybuilding base with a Russian and then Bulgarian methodology that's mixed together. And you put that in the fucking washing machine with a dude who, also wanted to find a new level of GPP, which would be general physical preparedness or conditioning, because I don't like to run. Sprinting is a little bit rough as you get older. And I was fucking bored with traditional cardio. And that's how I figured up the lunges. So I was looking for something that, once again, what could contribute to my metabolism being faster and my lifting being stronger while I'm at the lightest body weight. And I came on 10 years ago to the lunges for distance, 400, 800 meters. And so you mix squatting 5 times a week, fucking, doing the conjugate method, which is the Russian system. You're learning the bands, and everything we do is like pieces of these great individuals, but extremely unique to old school gym, 4am crew, max effort, and like the app and at CoryG Fit, like how I do things, how we do things. Like you can't go find it somewhere else. It's here.
Yeah.
And what I'm real, excited about is that we're showcasing the protocols, the look, the strength, that all of this like across multiple age groups, multiple type of, athletes. And it's exciting, man, because I think we're on the cutting edge of some stuff, but shit ain't easy and people run from it. They come and they want to train. They don't come here no more because it's private, but they want to train, but they don't want to lunge. They want to lunge, but they don't want to eat right. They don't want to take their self. Like we have like 4 pillars, man. We got the training, which is the get stack plan. We got the lunges, which are conditioning. We got the fasting diet, and we got the supplements. You follow all 4 and you can get crazy results. And I've proved it thousands and thousands of times. I mean, worldwide. So it's like, this isn't something that's new. This is something that's been happening for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. No, and you have a lot of guys now that are following what you do, even at 4 a.m., right? That are showing the same things. Do
Oh
you,
yeah. We got some freak shows in the morning, man.
your
For sure.
guys' numbers on, I've been doing the banded work, like the conjugate method, for probably almost a
Mhm.
year now. It's crazy. Like the amount, the numbers going up for me. I mean, again, I'm by myself in my
Yeah.
garage. I've been thinking it'd be great. I need to get some guys in my area to like train
Hell
together,
yeah.
because that's the one. Yeah, that's the one thing you guys definitely like. That's unmatched, is the energy. The energy
Yeah,
that
it's a
you guys
push,
have.
bro.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
push. It's like a college weight room, but with everyone that knows how to lift weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Right. Right.
grown ass men that are fucking competing every morning. Like people forget that shit. Like you get out of high school sports, you don't have practice anymore and you don't have game day. We
Right.
still have that. I got practice every day at 4 a.m. and game days on the fucking meets. And I expect to show up and everyone else expects to show up. It's just a different mentality, man. Like we didn't lose that edge. We actually have improved upon it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And for you, I think we talked about this a little bit. So between like the powerlifting, so the powerlifting obviously is to make you strong as fuck, right? The goal is
Mhm.
to like just be a strong human being.
Yep.
The
Strongest for
bodybuilding,
body weight. You know what I mean? Like have the
yeah.
lightest body weight and the strongest numbers. Yep.
Okay. And then the bodybuilding side is really obviously more for looks and for
Mhm.
hypertrophy, right?
Yep.
Is there, and those are the two things that like really I think outline the Get Stacked program. Is there, what would your thoughts be around? We talked about this a little bit, I think, before.
Mhm.
When there's like other outside things, like I know you have your CrossFit level 1 certificate.
Mhm.
I know a
Yep.
lot of people believe like variance is a big thing.
It
Um,
is. That is conjugate, which is variance.
True. Okay. Okay. So that's like the version of variance that we throw in with the Get Stacked plan, right? Versus like a CrossFitter
Well,
would say like they do different movements, right? Is there like, do you
yeah,
have a
think
belief
about
there?
every one of your squats if you follow a band protocol. So might go over some people's heads, but I'll try to
Sure.
like if we have 5 squats a week, we have 4 front squats and 1 back squat. So if I say on day 1, do a 2 count pause at the bottom, day 2 is a 3 count, 4 count, we'll just make it easy, right? That's 5 different squats. As soon
Yeah.
as you add 2 bands aside, that's 5 new squats. As soon as you add 3 bands aside, that's 5 new squats. As soon as you add 4 bands aside, that's 5 new squats. You ain't done the same squat all month.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
You see
Even
what
though
I'm
it's a
saying?
similar
So
movement, the
doesn't matter.
tension
It's still conjugate. If you wore Olympic shoes over flat soles, different.
different.
So we're never doing the same squat.
Yeah.
It
I
looks like we
feel that.
are.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like it, but I do feel that. And then it's funny. I know I didn't understand the whole band thing forever. And then again, it's just, knowledge, asking
Load the
questions.
nervous system, man.
Yeah. And then once I started doing that, then the Fridays and you take the bands off and you just give it your all
Yeah.
with all the weights, fucking crazy.
It's like running with a parachute and then taking it off.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
That's a
Like
good
jump
analogy.
at the fucking rim with ankle weights on and take them off. It's really the same thing. Although what Louis would taught a lot is that bands actually mimic almost like tendons, though,
Mm.
and that's why he believed that they work even better because they mimic the actual the way the muscle stretches and flexes, which is a
Huh.
really interesting concept. What I know is this: if you ain't trained with bands and you're not fast or you're not aggressive, you're going to be bent the fuck over.
Mhm.
You learn how to brace harder and train more aggressive through bands. Then when you take the fucking bands off, it's like you shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And that's why we have bands on more than we don't, because we want to make sure when we go to that meet, that's one of the first times we've touched, a free weight in a while. So the body has what happens, the Russian called supercompensation, which is now you're rested because you tapered, you've taken the bands off, you're usually bloated up because it's a 24-hour weigh-in, so your sodium and your carbs are up, and then you got your wraps on top of it. So there's 4 factors that weren't happening in the gym. There's the rest factor, there's the fucking sodium factor, there's the bands that are taken off. So now it feels way light when you unrack it, which is all mental, by the way.
Okay.
And then on top of it, you've got like probably a heavier meat wrap and a mentality. So your adrenaline's up. So it's like you have this compensation that happens in the body that's going to allow you to go and fucking what we call wang out, which is have an amazing day because you didn't put all the work in. So it's like a lot of people don't understand like this concept that I've taken pieces from all these great people. Like it's I know why it works. I
Mhm.
know how it's gonna happen as long as we just follow the correct protocols. That's it.
Yeah. No, I love that.
The
And for you,
system now.
one thing I wanted to ask today, since I have like a garage gym setup, for
Yep.
example, a lot of the Get Stacked, like some of it you need like cable machines for some of the
Yeah.
movements. And I usually just I have like one cable thing, or
Yeah.
I'll use
Yeah. As long as you
bands.
got one of them cable things that like hook up, like they've made real popular during the pandemic, you can do most of the stuff, I would say.
And that's what I've been using. Do you suggest for people who even have a simpler
Yep.
setup that do the trick? Or like I'll pull,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you do like a lat pull and I don't have a lat pull, I'll just do more pull-ups, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can always sub stuff in or out. I think having a cable is important. Anything that you need 2 cables for, you can use bands. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, I think you can easily mimic the setup in a garage. And actually, I think it'd be easier to front squat in a garage, dump the fucking bar in your garage. No one's going to look at you like they are at the YMCA. People are
100%.
scared to miss weights, man. Like I ain't scared to miss weights. Like whether I squatted every day, like most of the time in my basement the first year. I missed fucking weights all the time. I'd dump the fucking bar. I'd take them all off. I'd reload it. I'd give it another chance. Like, people were scared to fail, man. I just feel like you're learning this technique that whole time. As long as you understand how to do it, in a way that's not going to get you hurt, don't be scared to take weights, man. I mean, that's how you got to like wonder if you got it a few times a week. That's the way I look at it. You're in that decision-making phase. You're coming out of that hole and you're like, I'm going to choose to grind through this, or I'm going to give up like a little bitch. Or I might just not be strong enough to do it. There's a couple different factors there. And it's one of those three, probably.
Do you suggest, when you get to that, when you're trying to like make that decision, how do you decide? Because sometimes I see you throw like, it seems like I'm like, gosh, I throw 10s on or 5s. And sometimes I see you do it and you're like, I'll throw a 45 on. How do you decide like the jumps? Is that kind of just like by feel?
So yeah, the jumps are interesting. You get more bullish on them when you have more time under the bar. Okay. Like, especially when it comes to squat work, a lot of times if I feel like a real good, kind of like one before I'll wrap up, I'll make a big jump, because in the meets that happens a lot. So I'm trying to mimic what I'm going to see on meet day. I might be rushed in the warm-up room, have to jump plates through 500, and then maybe look at like, do I have to go to the platform and take another plate? Do I get a chance to take a 10? Probably not. You know what I mean? So I try to mimic. Our Wednesdays are more intense than going to a meet.
Because you said that. I've heard you say that before. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like no one's shocked when they go to the meet. We actually have to get live because it's less intense. Not, on no shade to anybody to meet. It just doesn't work that way like anymore. So we have to bring that juice because that's how we are in the mornings. You know what I mean? We're always hype. And so it's one of those things where I like if I know it's within reason, I like the challenge of it. I'll walk up to the bar sometimes and be like, fuck it, just throw an extra quarter on. Either got it or I don't. So I like that challenge, man, because I like to have to make that decision for myself. Like, can I get the fuck back up or not? Did I get up to, to fucking run away from this today, or I get up to stand up and showcase what I got? It's just a different mentality. My mentality for years has been, if I can unrack it, that's always been my hardest part. If I can unrack it, I can fucking squat it. So watch the fucking show, basically.
Yeah.
Like that's literally like the West Side mentality. Like Ramos used to say it all the time. Fucking, look, there's people in this room that want to see you get it. There's people in this room that don't want to see you get it. Give them a fucking show.
Oh, I love
so
that.
I look at it like this. I walk up and go, if I can get this bitch off the rack, I got this. And that's a little mentality.
Love it. And what's your max now? What'd you just do? You just did some crazy number not long ago.
I did 655.8 at 181 in the 40 to 44.
That's so ridiculous. Is that your all-time high too? Is that your PR?
I've squatted 700 like 3 different times, but I weighed more.
Okay.
So that was definitely an all-time PR for 181. I haven't had real good meets in the past at 181. I had like weight cut problems. I'm walking around lighter and stronger than I ever have been, which is wild because I just had a major shoulder injury like 2 years ago, but knock on wood, it's been feeling really good. I didn't get it fixed. I just rehabbed around it. It ain't going to grow back. It ripped off. So it just kind of is what it is. But but being able to have the bar in the low bar position again, it feels really good. And I really haven't walked around like in the high 180s moving weights like this before. So it's it feels good. I really believe I possess the skill to squat 800 pounds, just whether or not
800
I would weigh enough to do it. I probably would have to weigh like a little over 200 and then train like that for a while. So I really like weighing like around 190 and just, try to do the best I can at 181. And this is also because I wear powerlifting gear, which is kind of a, really hard to explain, but basically it's like super fucking tight, squat suit wraps. Like, I mean, this is like the extreme version of the sport.
Yeah. I've seen you. You are decked out. Does that all just help with like the acceleration out the bottom kind of?
It was originally created to like protect the lifter as it got into these crazy numbers. But the reality is in the multiply division, it's like a different skill. It's like, there's definitely like, you got so much compression. It definitely helps you out of the bottom. It's like an entirely different sport than regular powerlifting, to be honest. It's literally the extreme crazy version, which my personality is just kind of that way. So and I learned, and honestly, I never learned actual raw powerlifting. Like I did powerlifting, but I really was a bodybuilder. I didn't have a wide stance. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was going to meets, but I was just doing so numbers because I was just in like a gain phase. I
Okay.
met a big West Sider named Tim Harold in like 2007, and he actually taught me powerlifting, and they were all geared lifters. So it's like, I just did what they did, which I didn't take the supplement. I took regular supplements, not the
Yes.
extra supplements they were taking. But, I went ahead and followed the bench shirts and all the craziness. And that's just kind of how I ended up here. To me, it's just like, as I get older, it's actually helping me kind of stay in the game too. So it's good.
Love it. Yeah, no, it seems like you just kind of fell in love with a lot of these different, obviously
Oh yeah.
Arnold and the bodybuilding side and the powerlifting side. For someone who's like, I've never competed, ever
Mhm.
done that before. How do you even, what's your suggestion on getting started? Is it just like sign up for an event, show up? What do you suggest?
Well, yeah. So we have on the app, we have an online one once a year. So a lot of guys start with the Turkey Classic.
Oh
So
yeah,
they
I've
can
seen
do
that.
it. They can do it in their gym. They can do it with their friends. I think that's like a really, because then you're like, okay, I got to do a mock meet. Or a lot of people just do a mock meet with their friends. Hey, let's try to follow the protocols as much as possible, meaning like for a competition lift, let's see how it feels. Because it feels great when you only do one lift a day. But when you got to do all three in the same day,
Yeah, it's a lot.
you have this big period of time, it's a lot. But I think it's like it's a sport that it's really for everybody. I mean, you have all age ranges and abilities, and I don't know, man. It's just like the powerlifting thing's interesting because it's like you can get bit by that bug and it never really goes away. Like once you feel like one of those days where some serious iron moves and you've saw progress in your strength, it's hard to unknow that. Like it'll be hard for me to not compete in powerlifting
Oh,
pretty
I
much
bet.
like for the duration.
Yeah.
I'm just
Do
in.
they
This
have
is what I
masters
do.
divisions for you? Like
Yeah,
for,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. We
Yeah.
got two guys. One guy's in the 50 to 55, and we got a guy that's in the 55 to 60. I mean, yeah,
Sweet.
there's plenty of age ranges.
You're going to be walking around powerlifting forever, Cory. I know it.
That is my plan, dude, until I don't love it no more, which I'm far away from that.
Yeah, love it. No, that's super cool. And I know you mentioned at the beginning, one other thing I really wanted to ask, I think people could get a lot of value out of was I talk about it all the time and post about it a lot. I've been doing AF for shit, I feel like a year and a half probably now at this point. It's been a long time. You talk
Sure.
about it being a lifestyle, and it really is. Like it's just so easy to follow once you get into the
Yep.
groove of it. I think it's hard for people to get into the groove of a lot of these.
Yeah.
I know for me, and you and I have talked a little bit on Instagram, I think, about this, but how do you know? And you talk about it on your app quite a bit, I think. So it's something I think you just got to test. But I've hit a lot of plateaus. Like
Yep.
I walk around at like 175,
Mhm.
180. I feel a little fluffy.
Mhm.
170 to 165, even I feel that's where I'm like really getting
Yeah.
into it. Like 165, I would be pretty cut.
Yeah.
How do you know like when it's time to kind of evolve and change? Like I think for me, I always
Great
stuck to
question.
AF 101 for maybe too long and never
Yeah.
went into the 102. And I know it's something you've pushed
Sure.
me to do, and I'll do it for a little bit. And then I stare
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Yeah.
the scale too much. I'm like, go back to 101. You got to stay
I
leaner.
think so. To get all the goodness, you got to go to the app, right? So
Yep.
check
Yep.
that
For
out.
sure.
But here's the general stuff I'll tell you is that most people don't understand their body, not even fucking close. And if you dive in, actually listen and go to the video, like do the videos, almost like you're going to school, right?
Yeah.
Actually test, like you have to look at yourself like a science project. People look at it like it's some mysterious fucking thing. It's not. But what they're not willing to do is actually showcase discipline to figure it out. Because once you know it, you can't unknow it.
Right.
And that's my whole goal is for people to say, okay, whether it's because of the contest, whether it's because of their friend, I don't give a fuck. Whatever motivates them to say, I'm actually going to learn a better way to operate. There's all these people getting these crazy results. Let me just try what this crazy motherfucker got to say, right? And by the way, I'm going to not take anything from you. I'm going to give it all back to you. And when I say that, it's like when you have to showcase discipline, what's Jocko say? Discipline equals freedom, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
when we can create a better metabolic rate and a better understanding and education about, diet and exercise, then you're going to have more freedom with a healthier body. But you have to put work in to get there. And it doesn't take some people only 12 weeks. You've been
Yeah.
doing this for 20 years the wrong fucking way. So
Yeah.
when
Right.
people actually understand like actual what insulin does, how you manipulate it, how important it is to keep it, in check, and like understand, like, no, you didn't actually work out hard enough. That's not enough. Like, you cannot be a fucking soft person. You have to actually train, and you have to put it in. You have to get your diet together. You have to train, like getting it all together. Like, people have this like fantasy about like, well, I'm working hard enough. You're probably not. You're probably not for what you think you want. And yeah, well, I only had a couple chips and I only did this and I only did that. Well, they compound. That means you're not fucking following anything. So it's like people tell themselves these things to make them feel better. But the reality is, to make a shift, like a paradigm shift in the way that you operate, you have to, one, learn it, two, exercise actual discipline, and then actually figure out your body, make it your life's work to figure out your body. So then you don't have to ever ask anybody again. If you're letting your weight get out of control, that's fucking your fault, because you know exactly what to do. When I weigh a certain weight, ain't no one else's fault but mine. It's just what it is. So I just don't think people are in a pursuit, or they're curious enough about their body. I think it's getting more like that nowadays, but they need to like set out. They come on the app, they should try to learn everything about that diet. Then ask very pinpointed questions. Don't ask me some fucking questions. I know you didn't watch the stuff. I can tell by your
100%.
Like, and that's why I'd be like, yo, watch the videos. Well, I just want it written out. Yeah, it's fucking lazy. Watch the videos. Why do you think I do it that way? To see if you actually will take time to learn it. So like I do things in a certain way. I do things on purpose so people can actually get the education, because my plan is like, yeah, I hope you stay on the workouts forever. I'm a businessman, right? I wanted my business to grow. But the reality is there's certain things about this methodology you will learn and just always know. And that's the education you're paying for. And I've already been proving it forever. So I just think like people need to try things for 2 or 3 days at a time and go, oh, okay, I do feel a little bit better here. Let me try this now. Like once they get a baseline of understanding, I don't think people like test things, but there still needs to be like a 12 or 16 week block where you just follow what you're supposed to follow.
It gives you like a baseline, right?
Yeah, you need a baseline. So I think that's kind of like my rant on that is people come in for a couple of weeks. They think their metabolism is supposed to be like mine. And they're like, yo, well, I'm trying to lunge 8 minutes. Well, motherfucker, I'm the guy with the name on the app and I'm lunging 27 minutes. Like, a valid point. You think if I could get away with 8 minutes, I'd be doing 27?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I understand the fitness levels are different. We might get a different distance in 27 minutes, but it's the time involved. Like if I thought it was only take 8 minutes, I'd do it in 8 minutes. Doesn't fucking work that way. People just, they gotta put their head down and work a little harder. And I think like, I only really know that. So it seems like elementary to me. But
you say it a lot though. I mean, if people pay attention and really want to learn, you put it out really well. I forget how you exactly framed it, but you basically said, people want the shortcut answer. They want the results. Like you've been doing this for so long. I mean, I can say that now when people talk to me about just like maybe even where I've gone in the last 2 years of following your stuff, like consistently.
Yeah. You're in it, dude.
I'm like, fuck, I've been lunging today was 818 days in a row. Like, fuck, do it for 30 and then come talk to me.
Think
and let
about
me know.
that momentum, bro.
Crazy.
800 days of lunging is crazy. Jake's got like almost 1,200 days. One of the guys in our crew. It's like, it's one of those things like, and I've had streaks on and off, 300 days here, 200 there. If I've had a little injuries or whatever with all the lifting, but the reality is like, you feel like I'm at 159 today. Like I feel like a damn freak, bro.
Yeah.
My metabolism is crazy fast right now for as old as I am and the ways that we're operating. Like, there's no real cheat code other than we have a system and it takes hard work. And if you're willing to put it in, then you're going to be like, I'll never forget this. I was on a fucking cruise and I was fucking peeled and I was getting fucking hammered, bro. And I was eating all the food and I was smashing Sam Adams and Organis or whatever. And I just had this dude was probably same age as me. He's like a realtor. He said, he rolled over. He's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you figured out, but I've been watching you smash beers for hours and eating all these fucking appetizers. And he's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, what fucking program am I missing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing is like, you start to figure out when you're, we've set this lifestyle so you can like get out there and have fun when it's time. Tuesday night, you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday nights when people are actually out, right? We went to the UFC fight. I was eating the brownies and the fucking fried chicken and all that, and drinking bourbon and enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Because I know there's no hard fall off it. It's just part of it now. It's part of the lifestyle.
Because you've
And
gotten
by
into this cadence where like you get your cheats on the
it's
weekends.
just the system.
Yep.
It's
Right.
just the system, right? So the harder you work, the more you can get away with eventually.
Yeah.
Once you build it up. So I think that, people have got to the point where now when they operate around me, especially family members, they're like, damn, he really is getting away with this. It's because we build the machine. So yeah, it takes some time, man, but it's actually like really freeing compared to
I
how I
bet.
used to operate back in the day. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for going into that. I think for
Yeah.
me, a big takeaway in this one is honestly, I think for a lot of people, I think what the point you made about taking a hard look at like, are you working hard enough when you're in the gym? I know for me, like that's a self accountability thing where a lot of people probably deal with the same thing, whether you go to
Everyone
the
does.
YMCA or in your garage. Like, are you skipping a rep? Are you skipping a set? Like something's not working. Maybe go back to the drawing board and make sure you're not cutting corners. You're not making.
Look at your intensity. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, are you lunging 400 easy? Should you be 800? Should you be pushing the pace? Should be like, a lot of it's intensity based, you know what I mean? Or you really being as good on your diet as you think you are.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what are you really letting slide? Like, it's all those factors, man. Like, I was talking to Coach Deegan, who's on another show with us, out in the parking lot. And before he was asking about the before and afters I've been posting lately. He's like, man, it's crazy how these people are getting these abs. I'm like, Coach, they're like in it for that 12 weeks. It's not kind of in it. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, you can really build some momentum when it's like there's hard nose on Tuesday night for a brownie. It's not like, yeah, let that slide. I ain't got to take a picture of my underwear, because there's like, you know what I mean? And that right there. So when people can figure out how to put these like things around their goals, where there's more like their rules, I have rules that I follow. It's part of the system. Like, if you ask me to go drink beer on Wednesday, I'm going to tell you no. But you ask me on Friday,
Maybe it's a yes. Yeah.
No, it is a yes.
Yeah.
It's a Guinness.
Yeah.
It's a fucking yes. So it's like, I just have rules, and they're based around trying to stay healthy, if I have to be really honest, because at the end of the day, lifting is so important to me. It's way more important than food. I fucking love lifting weights. So why would I dehydrate myself on a Tuesday night when I have to squat heavy on Wednesday? It's just not worth it to me, right? So I look at it as like performance. So like the things are structured not only for social environments, but also to keep you healthy in the gym. I do all of this has been a very well thought out process of years, So
yeah, no, I love that. And we spent a lot of time today talking about the diet, the training for people. Originally wanted to get you back on here to pump up the contest, but I know I've been seeing you guys leak out some stuff about potentially there being a second wave of it. So I will definitely be pushing people to that. I don't know if you want to share anything or
I can.
what you guys are thinking about doing.
So I'll give the background is we have the I Want Abs contest. Is every year, and this year we up the ante. We give away a Mercedes as the
up the ante was a slight. I think you're undervaluing what you did.
That's a soft flex, but yeah, we're giving away a car. And then I'm giving away my actual personal deep sea Rolex 2, which is worth about 20 racks.
So why are you giving yours away?
I just made me invest in more in a contest.
Okay.
Personally, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, one, you can't find this watch. It's the James Cameron edition. I paid like 13.5 for it like 2-3 years ago. Now it goes for like 19 to 22 online. Can't find it. Super, super dope watch. The Sea Dweller, like just super sick watch. And for me, it was like, I probably could have just gave away the car and got away with it. Got away with it. It's a fucking big deal. But I was like, to me, it made me buy in more even when I had to give something that I really like away. Now, don't cry me a river. I still have a Rolex, but it's like the point is that it was something I know that I enjoyed, but it was time to like kind of let it go. And I thought that it would just up it a little bit more for me personally, like on the content and everything. And then we're giving away $10,000 in Pack Protocol crypto for 3. And then there's a bunch of other prizes. So we had a gang of people do it. They did really well. But Cole made a good point, who's the graphic gangster here at Max Effort.
Shout out
just
Cole.
kind of a maniac individual in general. he said, like he started like around 230 and he's around 200 roughly now. And he's like, he goes,
So he's lost 30 pounds in 12
he's lost
weeks.
30 pounds. Yeah.
Holy
Still
shit.
looking super strong. And he's like, wants to get bricks on bricks, like the
Yeah, oh
rest
yeah.
of us.
Fuck yeah.
He's like, yo, I still want abs. Like, we need to do the I still want abs contest, which is a secondary version where it's like, the prizes aren't as crazy, but it's like people can continue, or people that just saw all these transformations get a chance to like say, fuck it, I missed that one.
Yep.
Let
I'm
me
in on
jump in
this
this
one.
one. And
You know
so
what's
we're
funny though?
looking at,
Not to even cut you off.
oh,
I
good.
can't vouch for this because this is my second year actually like submitting photos, doing the whole thing.
Sure.
And last year, I will say, like, it's funny. Your contest for me personally was perfect because it
Yeah.
literally like my submission date was the day I left for Florida vacation. So I was like,
I
I mean,
remember
this
that.
is yeah.
Yeah.
So it's happening this year too. Like I leave Sunday for Florida, so Saturday's my last day. But when you get back, it's like for me, it was like I submitted all of it. I was like just working my ass off for 12 weeks. You go on vacation, you come back. It is like you're still motivated, but you're like, if there's something there's not like that edge of like, no. I have, whatever weeks left. So I
Yep.
love this concept.
Yeah. So we'll have 4 weeks registration. We're trying to get it jumping off like early April. And I think there's going to be a healthy amount of people that will continue because they're not there yet. Once again, it took them however long to weigh that much. It's
Right.
going to take more than 3 months probably to get to where they want. Some people can do that. Some people need more time. And it gives them another outlined group of time, just like the meets do for me or shows or whatever. And I think, I think it's going to be, we've never done it before. This is the first time. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great for everybody. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, for anyone listening who doesn't, has never gotten involved in this, I'll make sure I add everything possible to the show notes so you can find it. Yeah, for anyone who's wanted to, get in, get healthier, honestly, look great, get stronger. I've been doing I love this. I've been following the app now for 2 years. It's like, it's personally, and not, this isn't to blow smoke at Cory, but it's the best investment I've made as far as like an app or health or wellness. There's just so much shit you throw in there. It's like it's like your whole day downloaded into an app.
It's literally so much content at this point because I've been putting stuff on there every day since 2015. Well, I say Danny's been putting stuff on there.
Yeah.
Cole makes it look good. Danny puts it on
because you've been put, I mean, it's like your daily what you've eaten,
everything,
training.
Yeah.
I mean, you can scroll back forever.
Well, yeah, and Trey's capturing all the stuff in the mornings. Kyle's here doing the podcast. Like we have like a whole squad of like really like high level individuals that are putting together this content. We've been building the app since 2015. So I've been out here doing this for 7 years. Like I started in December of 15.
Damn.
And it's evolved over time. Yeah. So I figured, dude, there's 90 months of the Get Stacked plan. Day one, 90 months.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of articles, thousands of videos. So yeah, it's like my own Netflix of like how I operate basically. And so, yeah, I'm real proud of the body of work on the app. I don't think people really realize until they start digging, they go, whoa, there's a lot of quality content there, that I think will enrich and help people's lives, which is why the business has done well. I think once people kind of get onto it, so it's good.
100%. Very cool. And then your books, I read the first one and you just launched the second one, right?
Yeah. So this one, the How to Build Confidence and Win in Life, that one is coming out May 1st everywhere. Okay. So we're going to do a major push like Amazon. We did audio book too. So I narrated the audio book and then we did a podcast after each chapter with the round table. So, with Small Arms, Danny, Trey Speed, and the Graphic Gangster. So it was cool because one, it's a different whole experience. Like I think reading the books, perfectly fine too, but then they were asking me deeper questions about certain spots of the chapters. So I was able to tell more stories. And so I think the audio, a lot of people are lunging and learning. So I think I wanted to contribute to that too. So the audio is like, I'm real proud of it, man. Like it was hard. I'll tell you what, first off, I'm not that good at reading and writing, just to be honest with you. Like the fact that I even wrote books is fucking hilarious, but it's the reading out loud to my friends was strange. And it's me reading myself back and my brain like works a little different than how it like has to be on paper. So it's like, and then also having like, I'm going to have emotion because I'm reading about stuff that was really hard in my life. And then, it just like, it was a crazy experience for myself and for my mom, actually, more
Oh,
than
wow.
anything. Like, obviously, my guys that have been supporting me for years, I work with, they got to learn more about me and ask me like real pinpointed things that they might come up on a podcast, but maybe not, because it was so like deep in the weeds about my life and how I got here. But the conversations that it sparked with my mom, like, she was like, man, I didn't even know you remember that as a,
Oh,
10
wow.
year old, or like, I didn't, that was your perspective through your eyes. Like, it was very healing and tough thing. And it's, dude, it's so authentic, bro. Like, I don't know how people don't get something from it.
Oh,
It's an
yeah.
easy read, but I think the audio, I'm bullish on that. I think it'll do well, man. And we're gonna try to play the game, man. We're gonna try to push, get up on these like bestseller lists and the whole nine. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
badass. Good for you,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I was curious because obviously I got it when I bought a stack from Max
Yeah.
Effort.
I'm always going to show love to the original homies at Max
Love it.
Effort. Like, that's why I wanted to make it available so people could get it, early. And there's been about maybe like 800 or 1,000 that have went out that way. So like, but I'm going to ask everybody, yo, pick up the audio. Let's push that up, up the list. And I think the title itself, everybody wants to be more confident. And
Yeah.
last time I checked, everybody wants to win at life. So to me, it's like, if I can get that thing up on the list, I feel like people will give it a try. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
my
yeah.
whole plan. My whole plan is, can the title really get a chance to run? Because I believe that I have a lot to offer to people outside the subculture of fitness, right? And I just haven't had a chance to get on a platform big enough to really showcase it yet. But I've always believed that I'm that type of like content producer. It was just a matter of like, how many mixtapes do I got to do till I get my hit?
I
That's what I
love
look
that.
at.
No, it's
Yeah.
true, man. Because I know, as you can imagine, your training style, I've tried to recruit plenty of my buddies to my garage to do it. And then after a while, they're like,
Sure.
this guy's nuts. Like, it's too much volume. It's too much of this.
Yep.
It's too much of that. So you are like an extreme guy when it comes to like the fitness
No
side.
question.
But I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, even I know it went up when got into it, it was like $8.99 for your app. I'm like,
Yep.
even if the $8.99 app was just about the business and like mental
Yeah.
side, it's worth more than that. So like,
Yeah. Thank
even
you.
if you don't do the workouts, you could use
Yeah.
just that side as like a mental trigger each morning. So I
Oh
can only
yeah.
imagine what the book will do.
No, there's something about when you write a book, man, the body of work of it. And me, like, man, just getting all this down on paper, it's just, now it's always out there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for my kids to read, for my grandkids to read, like, they'll always know like how I got here. And I think so many stories go untold, bro, but mine's not going to go untold. Like, and that, because I know it can benefit people. And that's one of, and then this thing just kind of came, the little book of consistency just kind of
Ooh.
happened on extra stuff that was going on with this. And we put this together too. And we're not really even sure, like, we'll see how the first one does, and they'll probably drop it the same way. It's
Okay.
a quick read too, but it's exciting. It just kind of happened. And so we went ahead and produced that same type of way. You'll be able to get it with a stack, if people want to grab it. But man, I'm just really excited about doing more and more content that I think it contribute, not just from like a fitness standpoint, but from a mental side, because that's really what a lot of people need. You know what I mean? And just asking yourself these questions of like, why not me? And where habits can you put in place to get better? And setting yourself up to like, do some like legendary shit, so you're not second guessing yourself when you're on that deathbed one day. Like, I refuse to be that person.
Love that. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of that from you, man. So I gotta say thank you again. The mental
Welcome.
side of whether it's fitness, business, you do have a lot of value to add. The consistency, actually, I'm dying to read that one now because that's one
Yeah.
thing the lunges taught me that I applied to trying to start my business was just like
Yes.
instead of getting obsessed, you hit on it at the very beginning, but instead of getting obsessed with perfect, just like do some shit every day. Like
Yeah.
put something in front of you and just don't miss a day. That changed my life. So thank you for that. That's
I
what got me to, side hustle turned into full-time job for me. So, I mean, I
well,
have an example of it works.
the other thing is that I think people think you got to do some crazy stuff, and at times you need to show up and do crazy stuff.
Sure.
But most people, I'm winning because I'm just more consistent than people. And like, I know I'm more consistent than them because I've already like proven it. Right. And I know, like, if something's going on, I'm like, well, I'll just outlast this person. I know
Yeah.
it. It's just a matter. They're going to give up. I'm not going to give up. My stepdad told me a long time ago, like, he was a coal mining reference. They're like, if the guys were getting like a fight or whatever underground, he'd be like, yo, like, you better pack a fucking lunch. because I'm not going to run out of gas. And I just kind of took that approach with my day-to-day work. Like, I'll be here tomorrow and I'll be here the next day. I'll be here the day after that. And I've walked in these doors when I could barely fucking touch my toes because my back hurt, or when I ripped my fucking shoulder off, and I'm still here. And then I'm getting now an opportunity to do what I love at a high level again right now, this second. But I worked 2 years coming back from this shoulder with hopes of an opportunity to do that again. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. And that's where that whole like thing of I don't do anything extra special, I just don't fucking miss, came about, because it's really that simple. It's hard for a lot of people, but it's always made sense to me. Now, do things happen as fast as you want them to? Of course not. You're not guaranteed any time frame or ever that it would even work. But I'm guaranteed I'm going to give them all those tries to give it the best chance, at least. You know what I mean? Then I can say, well, I gave it a roll. Like, you know, I went out swinging. So that's kind of the way I kind of think about it.
No, I love that. And I think it's the consistency thing. And again, I've been doing the lunges for a while. The lunging thing also taught me this like compound effect, which I read that book. Yep. You suggested that amazing one. Book. And yeah, amazing book. It's like the consistency with the compounding with anything you want to get better at. It's wild. Because then the things that used to be really hard, like the lunges, were so hard. And now, not that they're still really hard, but like I've done them 800 days in a row. Like I know I can do it. Yeah. It's like that's what I do. Yeah. It's funny now too. You get a kick out of this. I had to tell you, I do it. I try to go to my track, but our high school track, for some reason, they constantly lock the gate. I don't know. Sure. I haven't figured out why. So I end up doing them in front of my house most of the time. And I live like in a very residential area. And it's just so funny. My neighbors at this point, like at first it was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? To then like, oh, there's the lunge guy. And now it's just like, oh, hey, Shane. Like it's just like,
yeah. It's just totally you're just the normal. Weird dude that's lunging everywhere. I fucking love it. Well, it's one thing I would tell you that's really interesting about that is that it's so hard to kind of own something in fitness, but I feel like I own that. I might not have created lunges, but I created that application. I really believe that. And so that's something like, to me, I can kind of lock on to and say like, yeah, like I figured this out. Has there been people lunge 400, 800 meters before? I'm sure there has. Have they done it as their main conditioning and for hundreds of days in a row? I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
The other thing to think about, what you said, something about not regretting anything. You've done such a great job. I think a lot of people can take away from this, the documenting. Like you could have done that in quiet, and not that you need to share everything if you're just, whatever, if you're a random person, that's something you're not passionate about. But yeah, if you would have never shared that, you could have done 300 days. No one would have known. No one would have, I wouldn't have been doing lunges today.
Yeah. Sharing that, I think really came about when I started sharing the squat every day process. That's when I caught the most heat.
Okay.
I squatted every day for like 3 years. And that was where I used to get a lot of like, oh, you can't do that. But because they were thinking of like a Tom Platz bodybuilding squat workout, not a conjugate, not a pauses. Like they didn't really understand the programming, right?
Yeah.
So really showcasing that I could hit like elite numbers, and then I could be light, and the lunges were like, I really just knew I wanted to be different anyway.
Sure.
So I was just always trying to find like in a curiosity of the approach. Like I just wasn't cool with the way I was eating because I didn't like the way I felt. And my results were great, but not like they weren't every day. Like there was hard fall offs in the off season, and I did the same bodybuilder up and down. And my weight does fluctuate here and there, but it's just so much easier to control now. And I have like an actual like lifestyle.
Yeah.
And with weightlifting the same way, like I want to be able to compete any day of the week, bro. And most of our guys can't. If you want to have a fucking meet next weekend, we could show up and do damage.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like strong and conditioned and confident. And so I wanted to come up with some protocols that, the average person don't want to fuck with it. That's a fact. But if you want to be above average, come fuck with me. Because last time I checked, like average fucking mindset gives you mediocre, average ass results. I'm not here for that.
Right.
I'm here to try to be elite, bro. I never set out to be like everyone else. I could give two fucks. I set out to be different. I set out to try to attempt to be great one day. I set out to like actually accomplish shit that like maybe my family couldn't even conceptualize. So when you want to do shit like that, you can't follow the fucking norm. The norm is just going to give me what I've been getting all these years.
Right.
What my family been getting all these years. I wasn't signing up for that. I was
100%.
forced to sign up for it to a certain point. When I was of age, I signed up for something different. And so this is what I signed up for. And so, yeah, it doesn't come without hardship, celebrations, and all that mixed up together. But the reality is, like, I never looked at anything like, oh, I just want to only do this enough to get by. I knew that was never going to like progress me.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of just a different way of thinking. But once you lock into it and you can see what's really possible, it's really hard to think any other way.
Makes total sense. Oh yeah. No, I love that. It's addicting too. When you start to see results through the programming, through the diet. I know for one thing, it's funny. I was going to tell you that I've been fucking around with just to try. Cause one thing you've taught me too, that I think a lot of people can take away from this episode. You have like your perfect combination. Like what you do on the app is like, you just learn from so many people. And I think like you can take that and evolve it to whatever you do, whether it's, business, whatever. I think it's like never giving up being a student of life, like learning from different people. People are good at different things. So just for fun, the last 3 weeks, you talk about a science experiment. I've been trying to like a tweak off of yours, doing basically a carnivore-ish diet. Where I just like pulled out the veggies, put more meat in, just to see what happens. I don't know. And I just, it's fun to do and just test different stuff.
I've tested longer and shorter windows before fasting, like different, combinations of supplements. Like, at the end of the day, like the curiosity is what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Because I always say, well, what happens if I find something out that's next level? What happens? My performance could decrease or increase. I just think like a lot of people maybe look at lifting or whatever as their hobby. But when they really fuck with me, they realize that's not my hobby. Like I take it super fucking serious. It's my life's work. I'm studying it constantly. I'm trying things constantly. Like I'm trying to figure out the best case scenario so I can teach it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I've been doing. So, the trial and error, that's all by design to try to like look for a better way. And eventually, what's kind of happening too is because fasting protocols are more prevalent now.
Yeah.
There's just all these like really smart people just teaching, like basically teaching and proving all the shit I already been knowing since 2015. But they're putting more like light on why manipulating your insulin at night gives you like a better sleep than doing it during the day. Like these little things that I've been doing just because of how I felt.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the exact science. I just knew it worked. Now there's like some more information out there where people like, and I'll watch and be like, yep, talking about anabolic fasting. Okay, yep, I know that.
It's funny, right?
I knew that's why that worked.
Yeah, I have seen a lot more of that, like the science
Yeah.
angle that has come in lately.
For sure.
It's probably just because I'm more aware from learning it from you, but that is super true. Too funny,
Yeah,
right?
and more people are just aware of these type of diets anyway.
Yeah.
But back in the day, my early bodybuilding days, I'd have told you it's fucking crazy. Like I'd get small, I don't have any energy. How could I be strong? It's all the opposite of all that shit.
It really is.
Literally the opposite. And so it's kind of funny being the guy saying, yeah, forget everything you knew, because that's basically what you need, or what you thought you knew.
Yeah.
That's basically what you have to do.
100%. No, that's just so funny. True. Right. Yeah. Well, anyone who, is interested, I obviously share a lot of Cory's stuff, but I'll make sure I link everything to it. I know, cool. Cory, we're coming towards the end of the time now. So there's a couple questions. I've actually asked you these before, but I wanted to ask them again, because you're someone who's always tinkering and evolving. You might have a better answer now. The first one is basically just, as we've talked about in this whole episode, you're up early as fuck. You're programming, you're running your CoryG business, you're running Max Effort Muscle, you're a dad, you're a husband. How do you, what tool, like actual tangible tools do you use to keep track of just all the shit you have to get done? Whether it's pen and paper, do you use your notes app, do you use an app on your phone? Like what is it that you actually use to execute and get everything you have to get done in your life?
That's amazing. I'm probably the most organized guy you've ever met.
Okay.
If I didn't have the guys at the office and my wife, I'd be fucked.
Okay. Well, that's good. You
right? I mean, it's just the truth, right? Danny will tell you as soon as I'm done with this, I got to shoot dumbbell shred videos because we was a week, 2 weeks behind. Like I have to be, I have to have accountability with the team for sure. Because I'm definitely like, I love business, but I'm definitely more of a creative. I figured that out as I got, that's why I'm like really an entrepreneur. Like people will say there's a difference between entrepreneur and businessman, right? Like I'm not a systems guy.
Okay.
Now I'm in a system, I've created systems, but it's not really like, but I don't really think that way. Like, but once I'm in, like, I try to kind of show up at the same time and I try to do certain, but it's like, I need those things. Like my wife, I'll say she's like the CEO of the house, straight up. Like
Okay.
she tells me where I need to be and when for like, I don't know when everybody's baseball. I don't know any of that stuff. So
Got
like,
it.
it's like, Cory, we got this and this tonight. Okay, cool. Who do I need to take where? What do I got to do? Like literally she has to help me with that because I don't even put like when I turn in the dad time, my brain will be there. I try not to be on my phone and all that stuff. Like sometimes I do a good job of that. Sometimes I don't, but like I'm trying to do better at that. So she really runs that schedule. I have nothing to do with that.
Does that
And
help
then,
you like when your
oh,
brain doesn't have to think about that like on your count? Like because me, I have like all my shit on one calendar, but I could see how if you just had
I
like
don't, I don't have
during
a
the day you get to
calendar.
be creative. Oh, you don't? Okay, you just
I don't
yeah,
even have a calendar. No. So
love
like
it.
the reason why I told you to send this to Kyle, is I knew Kyle would remind me that we had it today.
Got
Right.
it.
And
Okay.
so like for me, I just know I need to be now. That's the thing. What's great is the office, everything's here.
Mhm.
I know Cory has to show up here,
Yeah.
between 9 and 10, because I've been here from fucking 4 in the morning till, I didn't leave here till 7 this morning, went and lunged, took a shower, came back for this. Right.
Okay.
So I know I need to be here till like pretty much like my kids are done with school. And there could be a host of things from all the different businesses that need my attention. And that's why I built a team that is as great as they are, because they're really the accountability to, hey, we need to do this, that. Now, I might have some ideas that spark and it could go in a whole different fucking direction.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like that's really like my system of like, I know the quality people that we got, including my wifey at home, and that I need to then give everything of like myself that can contribute to what we're doing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I will put in like if I have a like doctor's appointment or something, but I literally I've tried to keep a fucking notebook and a schedule, and it's kind of like
Too much.
conjugate, bro. I got that exercise and I know I got to give it 100% that day. I think that's why I like the programming. It's like I don't need a 70% of that. No, I'm going to give you 100% of that exercise that day. It's the same way. I'm going to give you now 100% might be 70% of like, I'm going to give you what I got,
That
or I
day.
either have it or I don't that day. And I know I got to show up, and that's kind of how I operate, man. So good, bad, or indifferent. That's
Love
kind
it.
of my
Are
way.
you
I
even
don't know.
do you have people
Evolve.
around you that help you even like I guess because I think you know a little bit about my background, like being in CPG at RX and stuff. So
Sure.
do you like even for like the max effort side, like when you
Mhm.
do you have to like, this is gonna get really in the weeds, but like,
That's
building a
fine.
forecast or like trying to
Yeah.
get product, do you have people around you that are helping
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like make sure that's
Tyler
staying on
C.
track?
Lover does all the forecasting. And so, like,
Okay.
once again, his personality is a complete complement of mine because all the guys are way more organized than me, like 1,000,000%.
Okay.
Like,
Got
and
it.
it's, but also creative. So that's the thing is like when you can get a mix of like creativity, execution, understanding of business. Like we have a bunch of entrepreneurs operating inside of a business together. That's really the way that it operates. Like everyone has those tendencies on top of, that's why it's like startup, but not a startup.
Yeah.
But it's like it ebbs and flows like that, which I really enjoy because yeah, it's just it's our environment's completely unique, man, which is really fucking why I think people fuck with it.
For
And
sure.
so, but yeah, I have to have all those things in place because yeah, even like Tyler, we talked the other day, like I needed him to write on the whiteboard when things are coming in, when they're late, whenever, so then I can use my relationships to apply pressure to vendors and things like that. Like, because if I don't see it, like actually walk by and see it, I probably won't even ask about it. Like, I'm not thinking about that stuff. That's not like stuff that comes to mind for me. Normally I'm thinking about the programming, the ideas for the marketing, different products we can create. Where's the need at for that? Like just yeah, I don't know, like content based stuff. So
You're
for
more
me, I need
visionary, strategic
yeah,
minded.
I need
Yeah.
that operational like stuff around me. I've known that about myself forever. So
Which that's half the battle, right? Is figuring
yeah.
out what you're good at and what you're not.
Yeah, I'm not good at that part at all. And I'm okay with saying it because when I have good compliments, then I can, attempt to be really productive, which is
Yeah.
good.
You seem like you
So,
you have a great team around you. Are you good about like at night not turning it back on? Because I know you obviously you have to get up early, so you must have like
yeah.
dad time, and then what's the end
Yeah,
of the night look like?
it shuts it down for me just because I'm exhausted because I've put out so much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So for me, like last night I was up to like 11, but normally I'm in bed between 9 or 10.
Okay.
So it's like, my kids are on spring break this week, so they're up later or whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to do a good job of like two things: not look at my phone before the gym too, because
Ah,
sometimes I open up an email and maybe it's something that's not that great, and then I can't think about it, but I should be here thinking about lifting. So I'm trying to really do a job of like, I might look at my numbers from the night before, but not really engage with anybody, like whether it's socially, like answering stuff. Like I'm really trying to do a good job. If I look at the weather, so I know what I got to wear for lunges.
uh-huh. Yep,
And
that's
that's
important.
about it. And then after that, like when I get home from the gym, if I'm in enough time, I'll start to engage with people and answer stuff and do that, or send stuff to the guys for work. But yeah, I'm trying to do it. And I was on a little bit last night. We got a lot of pop going right now with the before and afters that are coming out. So I've got, my DMs are pretty busy, but I'm trying to do a better job. Honestly, man, I've been on social media for so long. You got to figure like I was early adopter of content marketing within fitness space with social
Oh yeah.
media now with Muscle Farm, and like it's burned me out, not because I don't like in dealing with people and that, but it just got so like saturated and there's so much crazy shit going on that it's like, it'll be interesting as I get older, how much social media I'll do. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Just
I
not
think
maybe
that I've
something
been
that you've
in
loved
it.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't like I enjoy like helping people. So I
Yeah.
love that part. But I think like, the comparison stuff, like I'm trying to stay away from that, but that all that stuff's like fed into so much
Oh
now.
yeah.
It's a little tricky. It's funny because social media is actually the opposite. It's actually less social
Oh, for sure.
and
Yeah,
more
yeah.
highlights. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to really get back to like, what kind of stuff can I put out that educates? How can I interact to get people where they need to be? But yeah, it's been a weird thing for me. I think as my kids got older too, trying to make sure I'm not like embarrassing them. You know what
Oh,
I
that's
mean? I mean,
interesting. Sure.
yeah.
Because if
So
they're coming
that's
into the
definitely a
age of being on
component.
social media themselves type of thing.
No question. Yeah, that's a component of it. So I started maybe thinking about it a little bit more, but
Why is
then
dad always
also,
posting shirt pictures with his bricks out?
yeah, exactly. Why is dad always got his abs on the internet? You know what I mean? So that's a kind of a funny component of it. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other last question I wanted to ask was more around. So for you, and one of the things I think is really cool because I think it honestly it's perfectly with what you just said with the way the internet's going, the way people in the fitness industry are going.
Yeah.
And I know I've fallen victim to this is just like paralysis by analysis of like there's so many whether it's a fucking Apple Watch, the Whoop. I've had
Yeah.
all of it. Why do you seem like I know you tried the Whoop for a little bit, but you seem
Yeah.
like one of the only people I know who has results. Obviously, I know you, like your process now
Yeah. Yeah.
have for a while, but like you rock the watch, the Rolex, and like you don't really like track any other statistics really. Is there a reason
Nope.
for that or why you kind of have come
Well,
to that conclusion?
yeah, yeah. So Whoop was a sponsor of my old podcast back in the day. So I got to wear it for 3 months. I
Okay.
just want, well, I knew there's no way it was going to read my fucking recovery rate because I was like, I'm like an outlier.
For you,
So
it's gonna say like you're
whatever.
red every day,
Yeah,
probably.
every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go fuck yourself on
Yeah.
that. But the but I was interested in the sleep quality. I've been
Okay.
telling people forever, like, I don't need 8 hours. My sleep quality is better than your sleep quality. That's probably why I'm able to recover. People have
Okay.
been telling me basically fuck off. Well, my shit was 97 to 99% every night for like 3 months, except for when I drank alcohol. And
Okay.
you think you're sleeping better, but you're actually not because you kind of pass out, but you're not really like my latency. I didn't fall asleep as fast. I woke up multiple times, even though you don't actually wake up, but it was like unrested sleep.
Yep.
So I learned a few things. I learned that, the way that I manipulate my insulin before bed led to a quicker, deeper sleep. My REM sleep was, just as high as most people that think they're getting quality sleep, 7, 8 hours. So it just proved a lot of my points that I already knew were true just by the feel.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, yeah, I don't need to wear this no more. And tracking, I don't never get my body fat done either. It's all the look test, man. It's like, how many numbers am I moving in the gym? How am I feeling mentally during my workday? And what do I look like?
Yeah.
What do I feel like? If none of that, like, so I think once again is I'm so in tune with that stuff. Maybe most aren't because they haven't done enough trial and error. So they're going to maybe need to track more stuff because they don't know what it feels like to be like, you know what? My water weight feels like it's up a little bit, but it's probably because of this, and this in my diet.
Yeah.
I probably do need to sleep a little bit more on the weekends, which I started doing years ago. Like I don't get up or like I just get up when I get up
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday, unless I have to be somewhere. But that still might be like 5:30 or 6:37.
Oh, it's still
Like
pretty early though. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But it's
Yeah.
still a 3-hour difference for me if I get up at
Yes.
6. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to me, that's like I'm sleeping in and I'll still be at the gym by 6:30.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where I think I've been working on all this stuff for so long. I am tracking it on how I feel and perform. It just might not be on some like watch or something,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm constantly, you know, being like, yo, I feel strong, I feel active, or I feel under recovered or this, or maybe I drank too much last weekend and I'm still dehydrated. Like I'm always like battling that stuff, but yeah, I just don't maybe do it. Like I don't use the RPE scale. I don't use the fucking Whoop watch all the time. I just fucking lift weights, train hard, eat right, try to have a balance, and then, add and subtract things that I feel good or don't feel good about. And over all these years, because I'm doing it every day, I've come up with these protocols.
Yeah.
So
No, I love that. I was
I'm pretty
curious
no
because,
nonsense compared to the rest of everybody else, basically.
well, I think there's something to be said about that. I know like I said, I've kind of fallen into I've had the Whoop for a while and it's
Yeah.
great, but
I think
like
it's quality though. Yeah.
no, it's great. It's a great product. I think at the end of the day, though, there is something to be said. It was funny. I had Matt Frazier, the CrossFit
Yeah,
champ,
of
on
course.
here, and we were chatting through
Beast.
Beast. Yeah,
Matt
he
Frazier is
doesn't
a
wear
fucking
it.
beast.
He doesn't
Yeah.
wear it because he said he didn't want to wait. He fucking hated the placebo of waking up and being like, I feel great, and then being like, wait, I'm red, and then like he's like, that threw off my training.
Yeah, fuck that.
And
Exactly.
so that's like been the one thing. It's like I think with any type of like whatever device there is, it's like anything telling you to slow down. Which I know like Will, that was like part of his goal with Whoop was to get
Yeah.
high intensity athletes to realize when they need to slow down. But I don't know, man. There's also something in this like consistency thing where it's like you don't always want you like your slowdowns on maybe Sunday or Saturday. Maybe you don't go as
Yeah.
hard. Take a break. I don't know.
I think there should still be a lot of intuition, man, and how
Yeah.
you feel. Like if I feel strong and some fucking app tells me I feel weak, then go fuck the app.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Right.
you know what
Right.
I mean? So to me, I understand it's like putting things in place to like, kind of save yourself from yourself.
Yes.
But then
For sure.
then I probably wouldn't be where I'm at if I was having that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Guarantee you that.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
It would my
Can you
squat be
imagine?
30 pounds heavier? I mean, I don't know.
Can you imagine waking up on a Wednesday and it telling you need to take a break, and then
Yeah.
you're just not going to
I'd be
show up
like,
for weightlifting on Wednesday?
yeah, I'd be like, what? Yeah, it's almost like having a doctor who tells you to quit lifting weights so your back doesn't hurt anymore instead of getting
Yes.
stronger. It's just
Yep.
dumb. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that there's a lot of over analyzation too. You know what I mean? But I
Sure.
think a lot of this stuff is contributing to people's lives so they can know better. But I think at the end of the day, you've got to be a student of your own body and what you got going on.
100%. 100%. The last question is really around just source of knowledge. So I know obviously you've written some books, so we'll definitely plug those in the show notes. Anything from an audio perspective as you do lunge and learning that you'd pass on to the audience today that's been something like either eye-opening or worth sharing?
Yeah, I think we talked about Darren Hardy.
Yep.
Obviously the compound effect's huge, but I think the entrepreneurial roller coaster was a really good book also.
Oh, okay.
Because it really talks about the highs and lows, which I think a lot of people like maybe don't understand that's how it is.
100%.
So it's called the entrepreneurial roller coaster is really
down.
good. I think How to Raise Your Own Salary, Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill is a banger book. It's like probably the one that made the biggest difference in my life besides Rich Dad Poor Dad, which really just kind of got Rich Dad Poor Dad just taught me real basic financial IQ, which got me into reading books because I knew how much better I felt after. So somebody gave me a book called Conversations with Millionaires. This guy named Mark Evans DM. Look him up. He's one of my homies. He's a character.
Love it.
And so Mark Evans gave me this book 20 years ago. And one of the chapters was written by Robert Kiyosaki. So I read it and I was like, wait, I don't know any of this stuff. And I was like, this is what I've been trying to learn. What's an asset? What's a liability? Like that. And then so I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then that's what opened up the whole floodgates. Like, ooh, self-education can be about stuff I really like, can make my life better. And then I got locked on to like Think and Grow Rich, and I didn't really understand Think and Grow Rich at first. So I needed like more of a tactical, like, here's the laws of how you operate.
Okay.
And really the How to Raise Your Own Salary is that. It's like 17 Principles of Success by Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill.
I've read that one.
Unbelievable book. Obviously it's written in the early 1900s, so the dialogue's a little different, but that thing opened up like my mind like this. I like Simon Sinek's stuff. I've been kind of toying with his stuff lately. And at the end of the day, man, I think anybody that you can get inspiration from, that you can listen to on a regular basis, that actually has like tactical stuff. Like that's why I was always like loved Arnold stuff, just because he was just talking about discipline in general and consistency. And if I think about like my Mount Rushmore, I was talking about this the other day, from a overall training and mindset stuff, it was definitely Arnold, right? Carnegie from the standpoint of like business, and then also like lifestyle and operation. My grandfather, because that was like my main like male figure I looked up to. And then you got Louis Simmons when it came to like this very like outspoken fucking trial and error, like crazy type of protocols, and then the mentality under real weights. That's like my Mount Rushmore people that I've learned how to like be this human from, right?
Okay.
Amongst others, but that's like my 4. And I've interacted personally with 3 out of 4, which I think is uncommon. You know what I mean? And so I was thinking about that because Louis Simmons just passed away. And I was thinking about that, like that, was basically my 2 training idols. And then the person that was my, basically kind of raised me. And then the other one was just one that's impacted me far beyond what I could have ever understood from all the books between that Napoleon Hill and Carnegie had written. So that's really, I'm a mix of all those worlds, basically.
Love it. It's like putting all the knowledge around you between people you look up to, and trying to like distill it into how you can build your lifestyle, which is, I love that. That's very cool. It's something I'm trying to do.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, Cory. Well,
hey, I got one question for you, Shane.
Oh yeah, love it.
Can we get this so we can put it on the app, dude? Because
I think
people would really like it. Like obviously you've been around the training protocols for all these years, and like you're asking, I think, a lot of things that a lot of people would want to know that are in our community, right? You're doing it for people that are just listening to the podcast that have no clue who the hell I am, which is great. And for your own knowledge. But I think like you did a great job of like, I think adding value to the people that do kind of know, that need to know more. And I think this would be really cool. And then obviously you can shed some light on, hopefully people will then lock in and listen to your show too. So we'd really like to
love that. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Cool.
Appreciate that. And would love to add some value for them too. So let's definitely do that. Yeah. It's funny. I think there's, I've obviously, like you said, I've been in this for so long.
Yeah.
A lot of these questions have come from, I'm trying to tinker and like get it perfect. And it's, what's cool is that there's never a perfect. It's like you just keep learning and keep trying new things with the AF, with the training mentalities. So yeah, I hope a lot of people can take away. It's a good point. A lot of people could learn from this one.
Simon Sinek said something I picked up on the other day about it being an infinite game. He said that there's a finite game and an infinite game. And the finite game is like football. It has quarters, it has a winner. And there's the infinite game, that business, relationships, like these things don't really have, like you might deem a winner because you have $1 million or you have this, but that's just your own perspective.
Sure.
And so he was explaining it in just like some really unique ways I picked up on the other day. And so the diet is kind of the same way.
Yes.
Like I mean, there's going to be different things you're going to test and try, and but once you have a base understanding of it, you can keep playing the game.
Yeah.
And then you might get up a little bit and then you play the game back down, and then you get too low and then you play it up, and like, but you're in the game and it's constantly evolving. And so I really think about like my businesses have just been like that also for all these years, just staying in the game, bro, because I don't really have any end in sight, because I just like what I do. You know what I mean? So it's just an interesting way to think about it. And that was kind of something I picked up on. What's that? The newest book he just wrote, which it might be called The Infinite Game or something. It's the newest Simon Sinek book. He talks. What is it? The Infinite Game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. I'll have to read this one next.
It's cool. So check it out.
Okay, Infinite Game, Simon Sinek. I've been wanting to read it. I've seen his stuff like on like he's always like, he's got clips on everyone's stuff.
Oh yeah,
entrepreneur wise. So I've
seen
got
banger clips all over the place.
Yeah, he's got that locked down. I've never read his book. No, it's so true though. Like I think the consistency, sticking to it long enough, learning your body. You hit on that all the time, but it's so true. Like I know, like I've done a thing now, like every Wednesday for I think the last 2 years. I obviously I weigh in every morning, but I take pictures every Wednesday. Just one
That's cool.
picture. It's literally like in a Google Photos album of like two.
That's
It's like
dope.
forward and sideways. But I can even, and I write on the top what version of your diet I'm doing, what my weight was.
Love
And
it.
so you can even, I can see over time, like I can even weigh the same and look different.
Yep.
But why? And then I
Exactly.
go back and I have like a fucking Excel sheet. I'm a nerd and I have like exactly what I ate that day, what my training was.
Once again, now you always know.
Yes.
You ain't got to ask me.
Can't
You can
unlearn it.
ask yourself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. True. No, it's fair. It's true.
No,
Yeah.
that's good. I think that you're a student of the game, and now as you continue to build all your businesses, like when fitness and discipline is the underlying factor that you're always going to keep. These other things are going to be more successful, man, because you're just going to be more on it, bro. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
congrats,
It
Shane.
teaches. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for continuing the grind, the hustle. A lot of people look up to you. So
Yeah,
appreciate you
thank
just
you.
getting all of us. It's funny. I tell people this all the time. Like I feel like I've created great habits, but fuck, I still wake up every morning. I'm getting up earlier and earlier. I'm like, Cory's halfway done by the time I'm up. I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta, even if I'm up at five my time is 6 your time. You're halfway, you're basically done.
Yeah. I had a phone call the other day. It was like 7 a.m. And the guy was like, yeah, good morning. And he was like, no, fuck, it's like your afternoon already. It was pretty funny,
That's
but
so funny.
no, it's good. But yeah, I think,
Moving the needle.
you allowing us to put it on the app, I think will be really helpful for a lot of people, Shane. So thank you.
Definitely. I will.
Man.
I'll share it with you. And but awesome. Thank you, Cory. Appreciate it,
All
man.
right,
Thanks for the
brother.
time. And I'll be in touch.
All right, you got it. Peace.
Awesome. Peace.